You wake up at 2 a.m. Your throat is raw. Your chest feels like someone is sitting on it. You gasp, you cough, that wet, rattling cough that seems to come from the bottom of your lungs, and sleep disappears. You're not imagining the exhaustion. You don't just have a cough, you have a body that's been working overtime for days, weeks, maybe months. You're exhausted, embarrassed, and living on daytime naps while everyone else moves on with their lives. You've tried the pharmacy fix, syrup after syrup, lozenges, nighttime pills. They quiet the cough for a while, which feels like relief, until it doesn't. That relief is a trick. The cough isn't failing, the cough is being silenced. And silence can hide danger. Here's the hard truth. I want you to understand tonight, you don't have a coughing problem. You have a clearance problem. The system that normally sweeps mucus and germs out of your lungs has been paralyzed. So everything that should be moving isn't. Imagine an escalator that's supposed to carry grime and gunk up and away. Suddenly the escalator stops. The mess piles up, thickens, and turns into a heavy glue-like sludge that drags on your breathing. Every breath becomes work. Every cough feels like a small victory and an ongoing failure. If you've been judged, it's just a cough. I want you to hear something very clearly. It is not just anything. Your chest pain, the sleepless nights, the fear of coughing in public, those are real, painful, and valid. You're doing the best you can with the tools you've been given. And here's the core mistake almost everyone makes. We treat the symptom, the noisy cough, as the enemy. But the cough is your body's last-ditch janitor, trying to clear away a dangerous glue. When we silence that janitor with suppressants, we often lock the problem in, not out. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you, clearly and scientifically, what has happened inside your airways, why that cough won't go away, and what actually needs to happen for your lungs to start clearing again. If you're tired of being tired, listen closely. Okay? Let's open the hood and look at the real machinery. Deep inside your nose, throat, and lungs, there's a tiny, tireless cleanup crew working 24/7. I call it the Cilia Escalator. Scientists call it mucociliary clearance. Same thing, different words. Picture millions of microscopic, hair-like projections, cilia, lining your airways like the bristles on a conveyor belt. They don't work alone. There's a thin film of mucus on top, produced by goblet cells and submucosal glands, and the cilia constantly sweep that mucus upward, trapping dust, bacteria, and dead cells and carrying them out so your lungs stay clean. Think of the cilia as tiny synchronized brooms. Each beat is tiny, but together they create a powerful upward flow. On a healthy day, this escalator moves non-stop, clearing your airways while you sleep, while you run, while you go about your life. Two physical layers are essential. A thin, watery layer that lets the cilia move freely, and above it, a slightly thicker mucus layer that traps particles. The watery layer keeps the cilia lubricated. The mucus is the sticky catcher. If either layer is altered, the escalator jams. When bronchitis, viral, bacterial, or irritant-driven, inflames your airways, several bad things happen at once. The cells that make mucus go into overdrive and pour out thicker secretions. The watery paraciliary layer can dry out, and the cilia themselves become damaged or simply stop beating properly. Cilia don't just get tired. They're functionally paralyzed by inflammation and oxidative stress. The coordinated rhythm, called ciliary beat frequency, drops. Instead of a smooth wave, the movement becomes discoordinated or stops. That's when mucus stops moving up and out. Meanwhile, the mucus composition changes. Healthy mucus is a protective gel, hydrated, elastic, and easy to transport. Under inflammation, it becomes loaded with DNA from dead immune cells, cross-linked proteins, and cellular debris. Those biochemical changes make it viscous, sticky, and glue-like. This process is worsened by common triggers: cigarette smoke, pollution, chronic allergies, and repeated infections. Even simple dehydration and certain medications can reduce that watery paraciliary layer and slow clearance. So two people with the same virus can experience very different levels of congestion depending on these factors. So what you feel, the rattle, the heaviness, the sensation of breathlessness, is the physical result of that stalled escalator and thickened mucus. The airways are partially obstructed, airflow is turbulent, and the sensory nerves in your chest fire alarms that feel like pain and panic. That wet, productive cough, the one that worries you in public, is actually your escalator's emergency backup, a mechanical force that can dislodge and propel mucus upward when cilia can't. It's messy, it's loud, and yes, it's inconvenient, but it's doing the work your cilia can't. In short, when the cilia escalator stops, mucus becomes a toxic, stuck sludge, and your cough becomes essential. Next, I'll show you how that sludge damages oxygen delivery and leaves you feeling drained and foggy. Now we meet the villain hiding behind the rattle, toxic sludge. This isn't just extra spit. It's a biochemical soup that becomes thicker, darker, and far more dangerous when the airways cleanup crew stops working. What creates that sludge? Several things combine: overproduction of mucins, the long sticky proteins, cellular debris, bacteria, and critically, DNA and protein webs from immune cells called neutrophils. These webs are called NETs, neutrophil extracellular traps, and they make mucus far more elastic and glue-like. Imagine a fishing net mixed into honey. That's what your mucus becomes, a resistant, sticky mess that clings to airway walls. It doesn't flow. It clogs. It creates pockets where bacteria can grow and where immune cells keep turning up, dumping more debris and making the net worse. This is not theoretical. When mucus thickens, airflow becomes obstructed, gas exchange is impaired, and inflammation feeds itself. A vicious cycle. That heaviness, the worsening cough overnight, the fevers and the sputum color change, they're your body sending red flags. So here's where most people get trapped. You take a cough suppressant, a syrup or pill that quiets the cough reflex, and for a little while, you feel relief. But by silencing the cough, you've shut the door on the one backup system that can physically dislodge and remove that sludge. A suppressed cough doesn't magically dissolve glue. It simply keeps that infected, debris-laden material inside your chest longer, increasing the risk of persistent infection, worsening inflammation, and prolonged recovery. In some people, this can even lead to complications that require antibiotics or hospital care. Clinical guidance is clear that many common antitussives are ineffective for acute productive cough and should not be used to quiet a wet cough, especially in children and when infection is suspected. In short, quieting a productive cough is often a false comfort, not a cure. While the mucus sits, bacteria find a safe harbor. Immune cells swarm, release more nets and enzymes, and the whole plug becomes more tenacious. In some airway diseases, clinicians actually treat by breaking those DNA nets, for example with DNAs, because removing the DNA component helps restore flow. That tells you how important the biochemical composition of this sludge is. I know it's scary to hear that the syrup you relied on may have been doing harm. But it's not about blame, it's about understanding. Once you know the mechanism, your path forward becomes clear. Don't silence the sludge, soften and clear it. That's the difference between masking symptoms and restoring function. Next, we'll look at what happens when that sludge sits in your lungs long enough to interfere with oxygen delivery, why you feel fatigued and foggy all the time. After that, I'll walk you through safe, science-based steps to melt that sludge and get your cilia sweeping again. We've been talking about the clogged escalator and the sludge. Now let's follow the consequences all the way down to the cellular level. Because when mucus plugs and sludge block airflow, the problem isn't just harder to breathe, it becomes a problem of oxygen delivery to every cell in your body. The job of the alveoli is simple but critical. Oxygen from the air you inhale must diffuse across a very thin membrane into tiny blood capillaries, and carbon dioxide must move out the other way. This exchange depends on two things being matched: ventilation, air getting into the alveoli, and perfusion, blood flowing past them. When ventilation is blocked by mucus plugs, that balance fails. We call it a VQ mismatch, and oxygen delivery falls. In plain terms, parts of your lung are being perfused by blood but not ventilated by air. That blood then returns to the heart and dilutes the oxygen content of the bloodstream. The result, lower arterial oxygen, is hypoxemia. When oxygen at the tissue level drops, we call it hypoxia. Both of these create a cascade of symptoms. This is why bronchitis feels exhausting in a way that rest won't fix. Your muscles, even your brain, are receiving less oxygen than they expect. You feel fatigued, your thinking slows, you get dizzy or lightheaded, and ordinary tasks feel enormous. These aren't psychosomatic complaints, they are predictable physiology. There's another piece. Mucus plugs can create areas of the lung that are ventilated but not properly perfused, or vice versa. Some regions become effectively dead space or shunt-like areas where gas exchange is ineffectual. This increases the work your lungs have to do and forces your heart and respiratory muscles to compensate, which itself burns energy and worsens fatigue. At the cell level, lower oxygen shifts metabolism away from efficient, oxygen-dependent pathways, oxidative phosphorylation, toward less efficient ones, anaerobic metabolism. That produces metabolic byproducts like lactate, which contribute to muscle weakness, soreness, and that heavy, I can't even feeling. The brain is especially sensitive to even small reductions in oxygen. That's why people with prolonged airway obstruction report brain fog, slowed reaction time, and trouble remembering simple things. It's not in your head in the dismissive sense, it's literally an oxygen problem in your brain tissue. There's also a nighttime worsening effect. When you lie down, mucus redistributes, and your body's automatic ventilation drives change, often making mucus pools more obstructive. Sleep reduces your respiratory drive, so these physiologic mismatches become more pronounced at night, causing the 2 a.m. gasps and sleep fragmentation you told me about. So, sludge, plugs, VQ mismatch, hypoxia, fatigue and brain fog. It's a chain reaction, and every link is reversible if we can reopen ventilation and restore mucociliary clearance. In the next section, I'll explain how to do exactly that safely, and why some botanical mucolytics can help when used correctly. Okay, now the good news. This chain reaction is fixable. You don't have to pray that the cough mysteriously goes away. You can change the lung environment so the clogged escalator starts moving again. Here's the scientific roadmap you want. 1. Soften the sludge so it's no longer glued to the airway wall. 2. Rehydrate the paraciliary layer so the cilia can beat. And 3. Help the body mechanically evacuate that loosened mucus safely. That's the order. Liquefy, relubricate, and sweep. The key biological tool is a mucolytic, an agent that changes mucus chemistry so it becomes less viscous and easier to move. Some prescription mucolytics, like N-acetylcysteine, have clinical evidence for chronic bronchitis. Botanicals such as Mullein have traditional expectorant use, and bromelain, a pineapple enzyme, shows mucolytic and anti-inflammatory properties in preclinical and early human work. These aren't magic bullets, but they're the molecules we use to soften the glue. Delivery matters. Inhaled or intranasal routes can place active enzymes or saline directly where the mucus sits. That's why clinicians use nebulized saline and, in selected cases, inhaled agents to rehydrate and mobilize secretions. Oral supplements can also help systemically, but they're slower to act in the airways. Always check delivery method, dose, and safety with a clinician. Concretely, start by thinning the mucus. Nebulized saline, hypertonic or isotonic, creates an osmotic pull of water into the airway surface, improving transportability. Consider mucolytic support. N-acetylcysteine has the strongest evidence for chronic conditions, and bromelain or Mullein can be supportive botanicals, especially when used as part of a multimodal approach. Next, rehydrate and reactivate the cilia. Aggressive oral hydration, humidified air or steam inhalation, and avoiding drying medications, antihistamines, too much decongestant, help restore the watery paraciliary layer so the cilia can beat again. Simple, but hugely effective. Finally, you need safe mechanical evacuation. Active coughing, don't suppress a productive cough. Chest physiotherapy or positive expiratory pressure, PPPOP, devices like the flutter or a cappella, and targeted breathing exercises to move loosened mucus up and out. These are proven adjuncts in airway clearance strategies. That's the exact science behind the LungExpand Pro protocol I developed. a Mullein-based botanical blend combined with a targeted proteolytic enzyme, bromelain, and stepwise delivery strategies, nebulized saline, humidification, hydration, and airway clearance techniques. The goal is supportive, to thin the mucus, support a healthier airway surface, and let your body's cilia and cough actually clear the infection. Many people report faster ease of breathing when they use this structured approach. But remember, results vary, and this is supportive care, not a substitute for medical evaluation. Important safety notes. If you're pregnant, breastfeeding, allergic to pineapple, on blood thinners, or have serious lung disease, check with your doctor before using bromelain or any new protocol. If you have high fever, worsening shortness of breath, or blue lips, seek immediate medical care. Mucolytics help most when used safely and early, not as emergency rescue. If you want the full step-by-step LungExpand Pro protocol, ingredients, dosing options, nebulizer tips, and a safe airway clearance routine, check the link in the description. I put everything there with research citations and safety checklists. You've done the hard part. You now understand why the cough won't quit. Let me leave you with a short, practical daily routine. Science-backed, simple, and aimed at one thing. Make the sludge watery, get the cilia beating, and let your body sweep it out. Habit 1. Humidify safely. Steam can loosen upper airway mucus, but avoid risky bowl and towel methods. Burns happen. Use a warm shower, a cool mist humidifier at night, or a medical nebulizer if prescribed. If you use essential oils, be conservative. A single drop diluted into a bowl of steaming water or a diffuser is enough, and skip them if you have asthma or young children. Habit 2. Hydrate the airway. If you have access, nebulized isotonic or hypertonic saline can rapidly rehydrate airway surfaces and make mucus easier to move. Pair that with regular oral hydration, water and warm broths, to keep the paraciliary layer lubricated. Habit 3. Thin, don't silence. Supportive mucolytics, N-acetylcysteine shown in studies, botanical supports like mullein and bromelain are traditionally used, can help when combined with the other steps. Crucially, don't use cough suppressants for a wet productive cough. You need that backup janitor working. Habit 4. Help the sweep. Use PEP-OPEP devices, flutter, acapella, aerobica, or simple active cycle breathing and huff-cough techniques to move loosened mucus upward. Physiotherapy techniques are low risk and highly practical, and they make your cough far more effective. Habit 5. Remove the fuel. Stop smoking, reduce exposure to pollutants and allergens, avoid drying meds where possible, and prioritize sleep with your head slightly elevated to reduce overnight pooling. If you want a step-by-step plan, recipes for a safe nebulizer session, suggested mucolytic options, dosing ideas, and the LungExpand Pro protocol, Mullein plus bromelain formulation plus airway clearance routine. Check the link in the description. I put safety checks and citations there too. You deserve relief, not quick fixes that hide the problem. Liquefy the sludge, reactivate the escalator, and let your lungs breathe again. This video is for educational purposes only. I am not diagnosing or treating you over the internet. If you have severe or worsening shortness of breath, high fever, blue lips, fainting or confusion, seek emergency care immediately. If you're pregnant, breastfeeding, allergic to pineapple or any herbal ingredients, on blood thinners, or have chronic lung disease, consult your healthcare provider before starting any new supplement or airway therapy.